Hello, hello. That's so weird. If I start it from, whatever. I don't need details, I guess. But there we go. Now y'all can hear me. All right, cool. The typical Discord mess up. All right, cool. What's up, everyone? I hope you're having a good evening. I'll wait maybe one more minute for some people to get in here, and we'll get started. Yeah, it's a new Discord feature. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll get into SPY. It's totally fine. This is a lesson for y'all. So this is completely free. Ask questions. Ask me anything you want. One night a week, I'm here to answer anything y'all need. So yeah, Adrian, I'm an open book. There's no bad questions here. If you're too shy to ask a question, that is your fault. You don't need to get on mic or anything, but there are no stupid questions. So take advantage of it. I'll probably mention this again, or around the middle of this, but for you free people, we are doing a 5-day free trial on the premium side of things, totally free. You don't need to put any credit card information in. You don't need to, obviously you can only do it one time, but it is a 5-day free trial. So you can see everything that premium has to offer for 5 days. So typically if you're free, I only do 2 free live tradings a week and 1 free lesson, which is tonight. Other than that, everything else I do is going to be premium. But yeah, so kind of an interesting day. NVDA had a pretty big move. Yeah, I mean, just to tip me, you can still get out tomorrow, So we'll see what it does. I think if it rips even higher, it honestly may be best if if I was in it to trim some up. Are you still holding 12? Yeah. I mean, big move today. I don't know what it'll do tomorrow. Honestly, I could see both scenarios happening. It's either it. I mean, I know it's maybe foolish of me to say, well, I could see it, chopping around, going down or going up. I think that there's probably a higher chance that it goes. You know what? I don't even know. We're right by all-time high. I could honestly see it doing anything. So we'll see. Obviously, 150 is kind of going to be a magnet. We're right here by all-time high. I'll pull up the video for you guys watching. But yeah, I mean, this chart, if we didn't have earnings, I'd be really, really excited for this. So what moving is on your chart? Right now, I have NVIDIA up. Go down. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the scenarios are okay. It's day of earnings. People that may have, it's tomorrow after the close. So people that may be in this trade and caught this big move today, maybe they're just like, you know what? I don't know what this is going to do. I think there's a higher chance it's going to go down for earnings because they have to blow earnings out of the water. So I'm going to sell. So maybe there's some selling pressure there. On the other hand, it's like NVIDIA earnings, you just get an even more euphoric move through all-time high, which to me makes it an even higher chance that it comes down on earnings. Just not because the company is going to do anything bad, but simply because, on some of these earnings situations, the expectations are so high. Even if they just meet these really high expectations, which is, means the company is doing great, it doesn't blow those out of the water. So the stock really has no reason to just gap up super high. It maybe just kind of stays flat or even sells off. It's like a sell the news situation. What people expected came out. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with the company, but the psychology behind that trade is it's going to be a sell the news trade and it's going to come down. Doesn't mean it's going to drop to like 120 or anything, but maybe it come back to 140. Maybe if something, we had that negative news with the Blackwell chips getting too hot in the servers. So, that's what brought it down yesterday. And then, as you guys can see, we went from like 141 to 147 today. It was like nonstop. So, pretty intense for sure. Snowflake is tomorrow as well, and also Pan W, Palo Alto. So tomorrow's pretty packed. I don't know who's at my earnings stream today, but it was pretty boring. Not much went on. I talked about Neo and Target. Those are going to be tomorrow morning's earnings. So what's IV, like 150? 125? Yeah. Honestly, that's not that high. So you're right, Stigman. But yeah, snow is tomorrow. So yeah, so tomorrow's NVIDIA, snow, and Pan W. So it's real techy tomorrow, which is good. Got a few snow calls. Nice. Just a tip. You are a bull, my friend. I love it. I was watching some stuff on like meme coins, and I mean, guys, it's just ridiculous. I mean, like a meme that came out like 2 days ago, goes from like a $500,000 market cap to 50 million. There's guys that threw 10 grand into it and made 10, like $5 million or something. It's ridiculous. I don't mess with that stuff. I hate it just because I know that there is money to be made there, but I don't know. I feel like once you start dabbling in that stuff, you kind of get that gambling mindset. And I mean, it's one thing to throw $100 at it or whatever, but we'll see. Yeah, meta swing trade. I'm really happy with it. I wish that I bought more this morning. I was a little iffy on it because I'm kind of looking for a little bit longer term hold on this, but it's like the chill guy meme or whatever, and there's also like the Huzz meme. There's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. But so Square and Meta are my swing trades right now. I'm thinking a little differently on Meta. I think maybe I should have gone shorter expiration, but at the end of the day, I did buy plenty of time and pretty expensive contract. So just doing the math here, let me pull up Meta. And you guys that asked questions earlier, you may just have to ask them again because I don't want to scroll all the way up there. But if I go to these December 27 600 calls, they're 740 now. I bought them at 550. So already like a 50% gain on those almost, so pretty solid. But look at the money here. They're $2,000. So 500 to 2,000 would be 400% gain, and we're 40 points away. A lot of the time, you see Meta make this move back to 600 in 5 days, around a week. So I'd be happy to make some money on that. I wanted to buy a couple more contracts, but I didn't. So. Yeah, I know there's a ton on here. You probably can't even read it. But if you go to the December 27 expiration, I have the 600 calls at 550 a contract. So, yeah, looking good so far. Open interest isn't that high, which honestly, a lot of the times I would like there to be a high open interest. But in other case scenarios, kind of back to these meme coins, it's like if I can buy something that doesn't have a ton of volume and doesn't have a ton of open interest, if that does end up coming in, that's even better. So, you're not going to see that if Meta goes to 600 in a few days, just because people, all the volume will be on the cheaper contracts, shorter expiration. But regardless, the delta is pretty solid on it. So I don't know. I'm happy with it. I'll talk about Square again here for y'all, and we can talk about this again at the end. But I bought January 17 100 calls. Pretty solid open interest on these, and I got these at 330, I think, and they're sitting about $4, so not bad. I'm looking to buy more into that. It's just a little extended, so I was waiting for kind of maybe a red day to come in, but I don't know. I would like to see this close above $90 at the end of the week. If it does that, I'll probably add more there, regardless of where it is, just because that's going to kind of solidify this breakout, at least short term here, because we've hit 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. We haven't seen a week close above 90 since May of 2022. So how crazy is that? If you guys go on Twitter and look up $SQ, I did that today, and I was like, oh, so there's a lot of attention here on this as well. So I'm looking at the right thing. So that made me happy. So fingers crossed, this closes above 90. That will solidify this breakout here. Then $100 next target above 100. This could go pretty crazy. I mean, I could easily see this going 120 to 140, maybe 150. I mentioned it a couple of times today, but if we, there's just some scenarios where you have these really big time frame breakouts, and there hasn't really been any sort of news on Square other than Bitcoin going higher, and yeah, they are involved in crypto a little bit, but all it takes is one catalyst with this thing to line up with a breakout, which a lot of the times they do, especially these big time frame breakouts. It's just the way the market works. Stocks start moving, people know things that maybe the public doesn't, money starts getting involved, things start getting ready to break out, and it goes. So I'm a little early to the party, which I like. My whole idea here is to kind of front run this with some small size, wait to see, buy myself plenty of time. If some sort of catalyst comes into this, I'm ahead of it, that I can then add to that position with a pretty good average price and then let this thing fly. So I really like this trade. I haven't, right. Yeah, Nancy. I haven't traded Square in a very long time. I mean, I think you can tell by this chart. This hasn't really done a whole lot since, 2021. And that's when it was selling off pretty hard. So, I mean, looking at this chart here, you're probably like, what are you looking at, Ethan? For y'all that haven't heard me talk about this, if I go on a 10-year chart and go on a monthly candle, look what it did back in here, right? Pretty much same scenario, broke 100 to 300, 200% move. Obviously, this took almost 2 years to do, but I think this trade is still very young. So I offloaded all my Square calls yesterday. I think that's okay. I mean, if you end up wanting to get back in this trade, I will be mentioning it for quite some time probably, because I'm going to hold this ideally for at least a couple weeks, but we'll see. How do you find stocks like these for a swing? I don't know. It's just kind of keeping your ear to the ground, constantly just monitoring things. I don't do it often, but there are times where I'll show you guys. I'll send a picture here in the chat. 1 second. Let's see, where is everything else here? Where's all my other watch lists? Hello. There's some of them there. 1 second, guys. I'm pulling them all up. Every day they move weirdly on my screen when I pull everything up, so I have to put them back in their place, and I hate it. I don't know why they do that, but welcome to having probably too many monitors. So this is what I have on a portion of one of my screens. So I can see a lot of the market at times. I did see this online a little bit, and I instantly liked it. So that did kind of pique my interest yesterday. Looked at it. It took me about 10 seconds to kind of put this trade idea together. All I had to do was basically just say, you know what, this looks good. I am. Let me check out the options, find something that I like. January 17 gave me enough time. Had open interest on it. Pretty good. Can you show? All right, hang on. Yeah, I'll do so. Vidan, I'll get into SPY here in a second. Can you show how to see option chain in Thinkorswim? Yeah. So if you're on Thinkorswim, all you got to do is click all products at the top left, and it'll pull it up. And then I think Jag said I have a ton of strikes here. I just have all the strikes on. So in the top middle, you can do like 14. You could change it to 50 if you want. I just click all. Sam helps. I paper traded your 600 call and when you called the first time, and I checked in on it, and it was up 5K. Yeah. Well, at least I'm glad you at least tried it. Look at you, Chad, with all your charts up. I love it. You'll get here one day. Thinkorswim is confusing. Yeah, it's confusing, but if you guys ever get Thinkorswim, I know it extremely well, so I'm always happy to help you guys. But back to the how do you find stocks of these for a swing? I mean, really, it's just constantly just checking in on things, being curious. That's a big part of being good at trading. Is just looking around. Sometimes doesn't mean you have to trade things. I set alerts on a lot of things. I mean, I've watched Square for years, and it hasn't done a whole lot. So I was lucky enough to kind of get in front of this early, and I think it looks good. What about SPY calls? That's a very open-ended question, but I'm guessing you're wondering if I think SPY will go up. SPY's gone up a lot recently, so I don't think that it's a terrible time for this to go, kind of bounce back up to 600. We've had a pretty solid move down. I mean, 600 down to 580. We've already bounced back up 10 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see 600 again. Does that mean that I'm going to buy SPY calls in the morning? No, it's just not really what I do. I'm not that kind of trader. But, once again, it's like looking back, Shy says it a lot, and you'll hear a lot of other traders look a lot. When you pull up something and you're wondering if you should go long or short, unless you have some sort of fundamental or catalyst behind the trade, what has SPY done for the last 2 years? It's gone up. I wouldn't say this is an exceptional dip, but it is a dip that may get bought. I do think that people are bullish on the market, especially we got Trump, the elected president, coming in at the beginning of next year, and maybe things keep going higher. We did hit that 600 level. I think that's going to be somewhat of a magnet for this, and maybe we go higher. What else? I think if NVIDIA and Tesla goes down tomorrow, SPY will follow. I mean, those are big parts of SPY, so it definitely could happen. I mean, if there's a big dip in Tesla and NVIDIA tomorrow, I could see the market coming down. I don't think that I don't think that it's going to be like a crash or anything, but it could be a red day on SPY if NVIDIA and Tesla have decent red days. Yeah, and even if they don't miss, they could just kind of barely meet expectations, and the stock comes down a little bit. I don't think you're going to see some sort of 10% correction in NVIDIA or 20%, but unless they do something bad, right? Unless they completely miss. What are your thoughts on SoFi? I don't have many thoughts on SoFi. It's not really something that I like to trade. However, technical wise here, this does look pretty decent for another breakout. I do think that this could probably get to 15 pretty soon. You got a flat top here. Like if this was a stock that I liked to trade, I would be looking at this tomorrow. I mean, this is a beautiful flat top here at 1450. And I think if we break that with some volume, this could go. So it's kind of my only thoughts there. I mean, when you guys say, like, what are your thoughts on something, that's kind of all I can give you, unless you give me a trade idea. If you say, all right, what do you think about SoFi? I'm looking to buy here for this reason. I think it can go here. I can either agree with you, disagree with you, kind of critique your thoughts, stuff like that. So that's something that'll get you to a next level in trading. When I'm interning on a trading floor, that's the stuff they'd make you do. If you just come up to one of these top traders and you say, I like, Apple, they're going to laugh at you and say, okay, well, I like that the sky's blue. Why do you like it? Why do you want to buy it? Where do you want to buy it? How do you want to buy it? Where's your stop loss? Where's your target? Stuff like that. So that's not me being critical. That's just kind of giving you a little insight on how professionals work and how they operate and how they talk. I've seen guys get kicked out of a morning meeting because they said that I'm going to get into Tesla here. What does get in me, right? You buy, you sell, you short, you cover. That's it. I'm not going to tell you again, get the F out of the office, or get the F out of my meeting. And that's it. You're gone. It's professional. That's how you have to speak. And it's true. I mean, I'm not kidding about this. It's I've seen it happen many, many times. So that doesn't mean you guys can't throw tickers at me. That just means that I can give you a better answer if you give me a little bit more in depth on why you like things. And again, that's how professionals operate. Thinking of holding iBota for at least 6 months. What are your thoughts? I don't know what iBota is. Is that a ticker, Sanjay? Is the ticker IBOTTA? I doubt it. Someone's got ChatGPT up. IBTA. Okay, so why do you want to buy iBota? Looks like it IPO'd fairly recently in April. Is it, are you looking to invest in it? It looks like you're holding it for 6 months. That's kind of more of a little bit longer term swing trade. Is there news behind it right now? It looks like there was a volume spike recently on their earnings. They did come down from about 75 down to 65-ish. Anything else on that, Sanjay? I mean, technical wise, I can see somewhat of an uptrend here that we're starting to break. Could be support. I think if it gives up $60, it could fall lower. But again, I don't know what the company does. I don't know why you like it. I don't know if you're in it, if you're looking to short it, what's going on. Well, I don't see you typing. So, what other questions you guys have? There's a lot of you in here. Ask away. I do this once a week. Get your questions out. Other than that, I'll just keep rambling about random tickers. You guys can, if you have questions about the chat room, my style of trading, psychology. I had a pretty good, I think, a little good snippet today on the earnings stream about trying to hold things for too long, getting greedy, scenarios that can happen that can just crush you. It's a grocery app. Okay, interesting. Never heard of it. Don't tempt me. I'm about to be Uber Eating or if that's how this works, my groceries. No, you're good. Thanks, PW. How do you prevent getting greedy when in a position that's running? Okay, so there's a couple things I can say on this. So obviously, human nature is, greed, right? We want to make as much money as we can. Let's say that I buy something and it's up 100%, and I'm blown away by it. And rather than being, I don't want to say smart, but just risk, using kind of proper risk management here. I want to hold it. So rather than getting out, taking your 100% win, you always think it can go higher, right? You don't want to get out of your full position because you don't want to leave money on the table. That is something that every trader is going to struggle with forever. Okay. The easiest way to combat that is just to have a plan and stick to it. I mean, recently I could have made $20,000 on Tesla in 3 days, and I only made 5,000 or 4,500, whatever it was. So it's a psychology thing. So a scenario that I talked about today, and it's actually good, is one, we have meme coins running, we have a bunch of stocks running. Let's say that I'm in a position and I'm up 200%, and it hit my target. That's where I wanted to get out, and I'm thinking, you know what, this looks really good. I think it can go further. Why do you think it can go further? Do you think the chart is really telling you it's going to go further, or are you just looking at your P&L and you want to make more money? Okay, so those are two scenarios. Well, let's say that you're up 200% and then it goes up to another 100%. So you're up 300% now. Okay, more than what you thought. If I was in that scenario and I had the ability to sell some of my position, I'm already doing that at my 200%, right? Because then you can lock in profits and then see if it goes higher. But a lot of people do is they're going to see, from 200% to 300% and go, oh my God, this is going to go further. Okay, so now it goes up another 100%, 400%. Maybe it goes up another one, 500%. This is going to go 1,000%. Okay, so now you're up 500%, right? And you don't sell. And then it drops down, 20%. So now you're from up 500% to up 400%. Okay, if it gets back to 500%, I'll get out. And then it drops another, 20%. Okay, now I'm up 300%. Okay, if it gets back to 400 or back to 500%, I'll get out. I'm being greedy here. I'm just going to wait for it to get back up there. Well, now it comes down to 200%. There's no way I just did that. Okay, and it drops even more. Now you're only up 100%. Some people sometimes don't even sell there, and it goes down. It goes break even goes red, right? So it's like that constant battle with yourself with greed. So the easiest way to prevent being greedy is have a plan and stick to it, right? You're never going to buy a bottom, and you're never going to sell a perfect top, right? So once you can take your mindset away from your P&L and just simply focus on trading the stock rather than the percent gain or the P&L, it's going to take you much further. It's true. And PW, I said this exact same thing earlier, but the only reason that I can, talk about this with confidence and it makes sense is because I've done the same thing. So it's tough. It's again, a constant battle. I'm not going to stick on this topic forever, but, at the end of the day, it's a mental battle. So to wrap it up again, have a plan, stick to it. And that's the easiest way to combat that. And then just be okay if you miss out on a little bit. It's much better to, take your base hit wins rather than constantly going for home runs and taking losses. It'll get you in a flow state. You'll be confident in yourself. Be a money printer, right? Don't go and buy a lottery ticket every day. What do you think of Google? I have a long-term option position in place to snow tomorrow before and after earnings if you didn't talk about it yet. Okay, sweet. Yeah, so that's a good question. So Google had a decent day today. I am going to be interested in Google once it gets back up here to, above 180. I think that if it can hold, you can see we got above 180 and failed, got above 180 and failed. If we can get back above that, and then really start breaking out. And again, this is kind of where, like, when stocks get in play, or you can kind of see the future, like, okay, if it can get to this level, just like Google, if it can get above 180 and kind of sit there, okay, well, I'm going to kind of look for any news I can find on Google. Okay, so like every morning I may show up and see, or watch the news and just kind of have Google in the back of my mind. Okay, we're above 180 today. I'm going to have it on watch closely. Here we go. Google's partnering, buying more NVDA chips or, whatever it is. All right. That's going to bring attention to the stock. I'm ready. I'm prepared. Got my calls ready and I'm there. So, what do I think about Google? I think that it looks good to the upside, but again, I'm a day trader. So above 180, I'm going to be looking for a 182 break. And I think this could probably go 185, maybe 190. Snow. I haven't looked at this chart in a while, but, let's see here. We do have kind of this downtrend break-ish that we broke. To me, this looks like it's primed to probably go higher. I mean, obviously, earnings is going to be a big deal tomorrow. If they do good, I think this could probably start really getting on the road here. So the first level I'm going to be watching is going to be like this, 135 level, then 140, then 145, then 150. Okay, so 140 to me is going to be pretty important, and then 145. Above this area here, I think, we could probably start squeezing, doing pretty good. Snow, I think, is a good company. It's just been beaten down. I know there's some guys here with some long-term positions on it. And, you may be red right now, or maybe you've kind of started a position down in this area. And I think that's a good spot. You trade options expire on the same day expire QQQ. Not all the time. I typically trade weekly options. I am into a little bit longer term swings right now, which I've talked about, that aren't typical trades for me. But I don't always trade 0 TTE, but every week I'm 90% of the time I'm trading that same week expiration. So if it's Monday, I'm trading 5-day to expiration, Tuesday 4-day, right, 3-day, 2-day. And then on Fridays, I typically am trading 0 DTE, but I hardly ever trade SPY and QQQ, even though I do watch them every single day. I don't trade futures. I use futures as a tool to kind of show me what the overall market is doing, and then I trade individual stocks within those futures. Make sense? Sam Hells, was that you talking about trading some elites for SQQQ and as in TQQ? No, that was not me. Can you look at Netflix chart? Netflix has been green for the past couple of days. Any trade set up for us? I know you like to trade Netflix in the past. Yeah, so I mean, I do like to trade Netflix when it gives me good setups. I was loving this around 700, and it just chopped around. There was just no clean movement here, and I kind of took it off my watch, shot up on earnings, didn't do a whole lot. And then with this whole Jake Paul fight stuff and, them trying to get more live sports and all that, stock's gone crazy. So no, there's not. To me, I'm not going to be a guy trying to buy up in here. What I don't like to see, guys, is there to be a lot of volume on earnings. Like typically, most of the time I trade Netflix, it's going to be with a major catalyst. I probably could have looked at it with the Jake Paul stuff, but I didn't think the stock would move this much. I think it will come down, but a little bit at least. But look around earnings here, ton of volume. And now look over here. Volume's not that high, and it's made a big move. To me, that leads that creates an environment where there can be a pretty significant trap, right? Guys that are long will get stopped out, and then we'll get trapped. And then shorts, guys who want us to come back down, will then bring in that excessive volume and then make it a pretty violent move down. So I have no interest in looking at it, at least tomorrow. But I don't know if there's like a crazy move from 875 where we are now down to 775 in a day or something. I may look to buy it, if it's not any sort of significant news or something like that. Very strong stock. I'm not saying I'm looking to short it, but I'm also it's way too extended for me to want to go long. To me, the trade already happened. There's not much opportunity there, and there's no reason for me to lose money trying to pick up the breadcrumbs here at the end of the move. Kev Y, what do you think of BABA moved 200% to the upside during the last Trump administration? I don't know. Trump with his tariffs and stuff like that, I really don't know how to think about Trump regarding BABA. I know BABA had a really good move in the last few months. So I'll pull the chart up really quickly, but it's just not a stock that I love to trade recently. Oh, look at that. It's way down. So that may be a reason, right? Trump got in, right here, like 11.5, 11.6, and the stock is now down from 100 down to about 86. So, roughly a 10 to 12% move there. I don't know. I know the one thing that I always think about when I hear BABA is Michael Burry has a really, really big position in it. I'm sure he took some profits on this move because he's been buying it for, like 2 years. But it's one of his biggest positions in his portfolio. And that's if y'all don't know who Michael Burry is, he's the guy who predicted The Big Short. It's from the movie Big Short, but he predicted the housing crisis in 2008. So anytime I hear BABA, that kind of comes to mind. But to me, I have no real trade idea on that at the moment. What else you guys got? About halfway through. Also, I was talking about once again a possible 20% market crash that I read a few days ago. I don't want to be annoying, but based on your knowledge, it is the case now. The next president of office. So, look, I don't want to get all conspiracy, like conspiracy theorists here, but I do think that Trump is going to be good for the market. Definitely crypto for sure, but I don't want to say like they as in like the deep state and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if something happened because things that I've heard is like a ton of banks collapsed not too long ago, right? Maybe what, a year, 2 years ago. That kind of got brushed over. Credit card debt is through the roof. Interest rates are still high, even though they're coming down. Um, I don't want to say that they're going to purposely trigger a market crash, but that's kind of what I'm hearing. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get political. I don't want to like put random stuff, in y'all's minds, but um, yeah, Chad, what exactly did he do? I saw just a few headlines on it, but can you dumb it down for me? Because I didn't get to read into it a whole lot. Yeah, Gabriel. So I mean, look, could that happen? I mean, I think at this point anything can happen. Um, I don't. That's what it was. I saw it was about a missile. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I saw memes today. It was like Biden right now. Like, when's Trump becoming president? 2 months. Okay, yeah, no, yeah, approve the missiles or whatever. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could happen. I think that if Trump is president, he's going to do anything he can to prevent that. But all it takes is some sort of, war, like, a legitimate war that America is going to be involved in. Or, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they try to assassinate him. I mean, imagine if he gets killed. I would think that could help trigger, at least the beginning of a crash. And then, I mean, who knows? Terrorist attack, God forbid. I mean, anything can happen. So it's good that, think about the guys who aren't really in touch with the market very often. Um, I mean, it's good that you guys are in chat rooms like this and at least just keeping, an eye on the market, because y'all be able to be the first guys to get out of positions and save yourselves if anything does happen. So, people that aren't in touch with the market, that simply just have a financial advisor, they're gonna get hit. So I don't know. I don't know. There's just a lot that I could talk about with that, and we'll see. But wasn't there like $500 billion that the Pentagon could not account for recently? $500 billion. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, well, it's been happening for 7 years. Like every year for 7 years, or I guess this is the 8th year that they haven't been able to account for money. So is it a new 500 billion, or is it just adding up to that much since it started? I mean, that's just insane. Where is that money going? Who has that money? Yeah, basically that kind of pocket change. I don't know, guys. It's crazy. But again, it's like think back to the trading psychology principles. Be fearful when others are greedy. I get very skeptical when the market is flying. I love making money when the market's flying, believe me. But, you know, I feel like the country for the most part is extremely happy Trump's in. Markets are ripping. A lot of people are making money. People are dumping their money into markets. You know, people taking out loans and whatever it is. And that's typically where the worst possible things can happen. A lot of people are exposed. A lot of people have risk on, and all it takes is one match on some gasoline, and it's gone. So I don't know. But again, back to you guys constantly being here, being in this chat, and just being involved in the market on somewhat of a day-to-day basis will, a lot of the times you can see warning signs. You're around other traders. You can bounce ideas off each other. You can protect each other, stuff like that. So if there's any place to be, it's now, because you got day traders all the way up to long-term investors that are all paying attention every single day. Don't bother catching the UAP here last week. More and more is coming out. No, I didn't, stick man. What are some clip notes on that? Any other questions, guys? I'll say it again for you guys. We do have a 5-day free trial going in premium. I can get you guys the link if you need it. Nice. Play your Xbox, Duco. You playing Black Ops? Oh wow. Sorry. I all I saw was $39. I didn't see the $2,800 in there. That's awesome. PUBG, nice. I missed that game. Just started with zero knowledge. Before starting premium or finding a mentor, what are basics I should know? Well, you definitely want to get started with the right, a good brokerage. Okay. So I always advocate for Thinkorswim, but Webull is very good as well. And so, I mean, obviously start there. I would say you want a paper trade, right? So there's no real money risk. And then when you're ready, you're going to want to get with a mentor. You're going to want to get with one of the coaches here, depending on what style of trading you want, whether it's day trading, swing trading, investing, kind of thing. Simply because there's so much information out there. Like I was the guy who would watch a million YouTube videos a day, and it's just going to kind of get you all out of sorts. You're going to want to get with someone who can kind of hold your hand. Yeah, there you go. Start with free education too there. But once you're ready to really kind of start taking it seriously, that's where you want to get with one of the coaches here. Coaching is, I think it's $40 a month or something. So, I mean, it's really not much. And the premium, I think, is $140. But yeah. So what was your name? Jote. So brokerage, paper trade, start with free education there. There's plenty of stuff there. And then once you kind of get the basics on I want to be a day trader with options, or, just day trader in general, or swing traders, because there's also other things like, can you trade the first hour of the day where the market opens? If you can't and you're working, I would highly recommend you move to a swing trading style. Little things like that. And then you get set up with a coach, and then you start taking it seriously. That is true. Trivia night. Yeah, Joe, if you ever need anything, I'll go ahead and just add you as a friend here, just so you don't get some sort of scammer adding you. If you have questions, just DM me, and I'll get back to you. Farmer Jaw RXRX. Let's see here. Pharmaceutical. So obviously it's right at a pretty solid support, I would say, around the $6 level. You can see, at least within this year, you've held it pretty solid, right? So if you're looking to buy it, if I was looking to buy into this, I would say that right here is not a bad spot. Again, I don't know why you're doing it. If you're simply looking for some sort of crazy gain, Jaw Smash, let me add you back as well. Done, so I don't miss that. I mean, I delete all my friend requests, and then I have 50 the next day from bots and scammers and stuff. It's ridiculous. So yeah, so again, like if I was looking to buy this around the $6 to $6.25 level, to me doesn't look terrible. I don't know again why you're looking at this. If you think there's news coming, if you want to invest in it or whatnot, stop loss for me would simply be like, maybe 575. I just get out of the trade. So, you're risking, about 50 to 75 cents. And I think, there's possibility I could see this kind of retracing back to the $7 level, as you can see here in the past. And then $8 next would be kind of my next target. Maybe you get a catalyst, $9, $10, and then this could probably start squeezing. Yeah, Joe, for sure. Could you take a look at DUK? I entered on a couple 115 calls today, right before market close, looking for a short swing. Yeah. See, that's a good question. So I don't mind this. This doesn't look terrible. So 114 to 112, you can see here, at least from back in this area, is going to be some sort of a zone here. You also kind of have the support here around 110. So it looks like they had, look, as in I can see in from today's candle, dipped early and then closed really strong. You definitely want to see a strong close when you're looking to buy calls at the end of the day. I think, if I was in this, all I'm looking for is for a daily candle close. So at the end of the day, at market close, I want to see this close above 114. Your next level you're going to watch is going to be 115. So you do have the 115 calls. I don't know what expiration, but above 115 to me is where that next leg up can start. That makes sense, Adrian? You have any other questions on that? It's that big of a difference, just to really? I have the Quest 2 too. Cool. Yeah, that's actually, I mean, I like that trade. It's a good trade. Yeah, what's the difference in them? All right, we got about 10 more minutes here. Anyone else? Questions about the chat? I'm going to be watching Tesla tomorrow at 350. That'll be something I'll be looking at for sure. I think that, I did miss the dip buy on that like I wanted down here around 310, but it's okay. See, the close here was right at 350. So a daily close above 350 could probably get this thing going again. But, it could easily just pull right back in, and then we kind of start doing a little wedge pattern thing, So it could easily reject here and then kind of start doing that. So I'm not completely sold on it going straight through 360, but 350 will be my watch tomorrow. Today's high was 347.38. Yesterday's high was 348.55. So two pretty solid levels there to watch. 350 will have a wall breakout through there. This could go higher for sure, I think. What is the coach EXP like? Oh, the coach experience. So pretty much you're going to get like a specific channel exclusively with your coach and the only members. So, I mean, that's where I spend like 99% of my time here. So just because like they want to focus on day trading. So I'm going to be like, sending pictures or just talking to them about, positions I'm in or how they did or just stuff like that. It's a little bit more exclusive. You're also going to get, specific lessons with your coach. So like tonight, it's a free lesson. So I don't have any sort of specific topics to go over. I have probably 20 recorded lessons where I have like a slideshow and I go really in depth into things from, beginner topics, like, what is the stock market? And I go like, what are options? So I go through like, what are calls, what are puts, what's open interest, what's volume, what's theta, what's delta. I go into price action stuff. I go into psychology. I go into how I have my screen set up. I mean, I have all this stuff recorded that you will then have access to. And then, every Thursday night, I'm going into more of the approach on just getting closer with y'all. What are you struggling with? What are you doing good? Walk me through your trade. I would have done this. I would have done that. Just, stuff like that. So a lot more in depth, one-on-one style stuff. Scheduled group meeting. Yeah. So for me, it's every Thursday night at this time. So 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then, again, 90% of the time I'm in that specific chat. So you guys probably don't see me much in like stocks chat or free channel or options chat. I'm trying to get a little bit more involved in options chat just because that's what I do. But yeah, so it's basically holding your hand and giving you how so, Jack? What do you mean when you say I'm watching for 350? So 350 is a very solid resistance here. So I'm a breakout trader. So I want to see Tesla break through 350, and that's where I'm looking to get involved. So like right before 350, I would like to get in, see it break 350, and then go higher. See, Chad, I agree. I agree, but getting a little hate because I'm not texting all day when I'm a full-time student. But it's okay. It's my job. But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know the other guys' schedule that close, but I do think I at least do at 1 or 2 more streams, right? Just a tip later, dude. Take care. Let's see who asked that question. What do you mean when you say I'm watching 350? Did that make sense, Joe, on why I'm watching 350? Okay, good. You're kind of trading me. Yeah, no, I mean that's why I love it. It's hectic in the morning, but I like being done early. Why do you get in before the breakthrough and not after? So there's 2 different styles of trading, right? Well, different ways that I can trade a specific level. So let's say that tomorrow this opens up at 349. That'll give me a chance to get in before 350 because I'm anticipating it breaking through 350. You know what? I'm going to give you, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. 1 second. I'm going to give you a perfect example on why. Recent files. Where would it be? 1 second. Well, I'll just go save it again. So I actually just clipped up one of my live tradings today. Yeah, it'll be a good little big boy trade. Yes, it is that. Here we go. Save here. And I'll drop it right there. 30 seconds, you can watch it. It's an example in why I want to be in before a specific level that I want to see break because you get a solid move straight through it. Another example is let's say it breaks through and I miss it. What I want to see it do is come back into it, that level. So, let's just, I'm going to go way over here. Hang on. Let's see. I'm going to do like, come on. I'll come over here and do this. So let's say that, yeah, that was an intense one. Let's say that this is 350 on Tesla, okay? And price came up in here, did this, rejected, came back in, came back in, came back in, came back in. And then we end up breaking up, okay? So we end up breaking through this. Well, typically I'd want to get in right here, right before the break. Well, I was in with about almost $8,000 right there, so it was somewhat of a good sized trade. But anyways, so I would like to get in right here on this dot. I hope whoever asked that is watching. So let's say that I miss this. I missed the entry here and it shoots up. What I want to see happen, because now that this resistance here is, when you break, let's say that I'm on the first floor of a building and I break through the ceiling and I land on the second floor. Well, that the ceiling for me on the first floor is now the floor when I'm on the second floor, right? So resistance now turned into support. So I would want to see price come back down into this level, kind of sit there. I would start entering here, okay, simply because I know that my stop loss is going to be here if it breaks this line here, okay? If it breaks that, I know that I'm out. But if it holds in this area and I'm in, that is where you want to see buyers come in, and then you could see, a much higher move. So sometimes there's two trades to be made there. Does that make sense? That's my stop. Am I not the best drawer in the world? No, I've definitely had lives where my stop losses hit. I've taken few trades recently. Things have kind of been weird. I've had a couple swings. There has been some good ones, but there's been, just market's been a bit weird. I've been hesitant with entries because there's been a lot of fake outs, a lot of contracts. The IV is way up because of this freaking election stuff still. It's just weird. What makes you decide between the different calls, 350, 320, whatever? So if I'm looking at a 350 break, so like let's say that this resistance here that I have drawn is 350. I want to, if I'm going to be entering here at my initial entry, I would want to be in the 350 calls, because those calls are going to go from out of the money to then in the money, right? When I'm below 350, they're out of the money. When I break through 350, I'm now in the money. And you get a premium flip there, meaning you just get, an extra bit of volume and just some extra premium on top of what you were making. But let's say that I'm taking this second entry here, okay, when it pulls back in, well, and let's say that 360 is up here, I may just do 360 calls or 355s. I always like to be just a little bit out of the money. There are very, very rare times when I am buying in the money. Hardly ever, I would say. Another scenario would be, let's say that we're at 350 here. I'm looking to get in on this first entry, but the 350 calls are like $2,000 or something really expensive. Well, I could buy the 360s, which bring a little bit more risk to time decay, but they're going to be maybe $1,000, or maybe the 350s are $500 and the 360s are $200. I'd much rather buy the 360s if I couldn't afford it, and still be able to get in the trade. Makes sense. So ideally, I want to be right out of the money, but there are scenarios where I can go a little bit further out of the money. So if Tesla's at 350, maybe I buy the 375s, and I go with those. Yeah. So, again, if you end up joining coaching, I have lessons on all this stuff. But if you look at the option chain here, you can see how it's flipped, right? You have like purple, black, and black is flipped. So let's say that Tesla is at $350 and I buy a 325 call, meaning I want it to go up. Well, Tesla's above 325 and I want it to go higher. That means I'm in the money. That means I'm buying a contract that is lower. I'm buying a call that is lower than where the stock is. Let's say Tesla's at 350 and I buy a 375 call. That means I'm out of the money because I'm buying an option contract that is higher. The strike price is higher than where the actual stock is at the moment. So for puts, where I want the stock to go down, it's just the opposite. If I buy let's say Tesla again is at $350 and I buy a 325 put because I want it to go down, right? The direction that I want it to go has to go down to my contract. But if Tesla's at 350 and I buy a 375 put. Well, Tesla's below 375 and I want it to go lower. That means I'm in the money. Make sense? You may just want to do a quick Google search on that, but maybe a little bit easier. But if you just look here at my screen, like the top right is going to be puts, right? And everything in the black is out of the money. The bottom left in black here is going to be out of the money for calls. Because, I know you can't really see this, but, right here, right where it flips from black to purple, it's right at like 345 because that's where Tesla is right now. So if I go down to 355 on a call side, that means that Tesla's at 345 and I would be buying out of the money at 355 if I wanted to go up. If Tesla's at 345 and I want it to go down, right here, it's at 345. If I go up to, that's 340 because Tesla is above 340 and I want it to go down to 340. I know it's kind of confusing, but I would just give it a quick little Google search. We're running out of time here, so it's my last question here. So when do you add on extra contracts? That's when you'll buy in the money. Like let's say I'm in a swing position and I'm in the money pretty nicely. Sometimes I will. So this is very technical, but let's say that I have 10 contracts on Tesla, okay, and I'm in the money, but I want to sell half of my position. I want to lock in half. What I'll do is I will, if I have 10, I'll buy 5 more. So I have 15, and then I'll sell 5 or sell 7. So I'm then out of, half of my position, because let's say that I have 10 contracts, I sell 5 and then buy 5. This is very technical. This may take a second to explain. So let's say that I have 10 contracts at, $1,000 a contract. So I'm in with 10 grand. And I buy 5 more. That means I'm adding $5,000 on top of it. My average price is going to come up by 30%. Okay. Because I added 50%. This is very technical. I don't know. Do you guys want me to get into this? I guess I should. If I have 10 contracts and I buy an extra 5, I'm buying in, I'm adding 50% to my position. Okay. And my average price will only come up, a little bit, right? About 30%. So if I'm filled at $5 and they're at 10 right now, they would go to like 750. Actually, no, they would go to like 650 or something, right? They wouldn't go halfway, because if I had 10 and then I bought 10, it would just be, it would go halfway. Okay. If I have 10 contracts at 5 and I buy 10 more at 10, that means that it's going to average out to 750 on my average price. Okay. But if I have 10 and only buy 5, it's not going to bring it up as much. And then I can sell 5, meaning my average price didn't come up as much. So if you make the mistake of having 10 contracts, selling 5, and then buying 5, it brings your average price up more than if you bought 5 first and then sold some. You have to go in with more money, right? If you buy more, if you have, a $10,000 position and you have to buy $5,000 more, well, you have to have that $5,000 on the side, but then you could sell $7,500 worth of contracts. You can get out of half, or maybe you can add 5 and sell 10. Okay, to leave your average price lower. And that's just something very, very technical you can do in just a matter of seconds. Does that make sense to most of y'all? I know that that's a lot, but that's just a very technical, like, it's just math. Well, Adrian, I don't like that, because that is the recipe for disaster. Yeah, pretty much. But it's more so like if I can buy, if I can add to my position first and then sell what I wanted to sell, and my average price only comes up 25%, rather than me selling first and then buying back in, buying what I sold, my average price may go up 50%. You know what I mean? No, it'll be the same one. So like when I'm saying I'm adding, it's like maybe I'm looking to buy 10, like that's going to be my full position. I may buy like 2, then 3, okay, then I'm in 5, then may buy 3 more, then I'm in 8, and then I buy 2 more. So I can kind of create a position there and try to keep my average price lower, right? Those cheaper contracts will help bring that average price down as I'm buying more when they're more expensive, and then the trade goes my way. So that's what I mean by adding. Because you see it's going positive. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of this is human nature. A lot of people want to buy an average down. Okay. And that's what, sometimes it can work and sometimes that's part of your plan, right? Is to average into a trade. But not a lot of people buy into winning trades, right? You need to press your winners. You need to try to let them run, right? A lot of people sell too quick and they're more than happy to buy more if it goes against them. That means the trade's not working. Think about that logically. How does that make sense? Yeah. So in options, you never execute the shares. Yeah. Well, you don't own the shares. You have the right to the shares. It's when I talk about this premium, it's how much the contract costs, not how much it costs for the shares. Makes sense? Sweet. All right. Well, I'm probably going to wrap things up here, guys. I think it was a pretty good lesson. Um, yes, exactly. Well, just kind of getting fancy to try to make a good average price, pretty much. But yeah, so I think that's it for me, guys. It's getting late. So y'all have a good rest of the night. Thank you for being here. Really good questions. And I hope to see y'all at more of them. And I hope you free guys check out coaching. Just start with that, and then you can upgrade to premium when you're ready. But I'm happy to help you guys. I added some of y'all. For y'all that didn't add me, go ahead and add me as a friend now, so I can add you back quickly, so you don't get added by some scammer. Believe me, I'm never gonna ask you guys for any crypto, and I'm never gonna ask you guys for money because I'm not trading anybody's money. So have a good rest of the night. Thank you guys. Please show up more. I want to see y'all more, especially you free guys. Really good questions tonight. All right. Jag, Stickman, Duco, TK. Just a tip already left. You guys, love y'all. Y'all are my favorite. You free guys, you got to work to be my friend like these ones. Kidding. All right. Have a good night. Bye-bye.